Hello, everyone. We are live. Today is Thursday, December 16th, 2021. All right, aren't too many Thursdays left in this year. However, I am so happy to be here with you. If you are joining us live, in the comment below, hashtag live, or if you're joining us on the replay, then just, do a hashtag replay and tell us where you're coming from. As you know, and I repeat it every week, I'm coming in from Mexico, lovely sunny Mexico, and my guest today is from Canada, and we will talk to my guest Jane, who is from Canada, and she can tell us where she is from. Just a little bit of housekeeping rules here. StreamYard, as you will see, there's a strip above. StreamYard, in order to be able to make a comment, allow StreamYard to use your name. So just click on that and give StreamYard permission to use your name. If you want to react, or if you just simply want to not comment, then send us some hearts. We love those hearts. All right. And so so we'll go on from here. As you well know, I usually explain to you how my awesome guest today and I have met. We actually have quite a bit in common. We're both interviewers, for one thing. We both love people's stories is another, and we happen to have the same business coach. Now, I don't know about my guests, and we will find out, but I have a coach for everything. I have a business coach, I have a tech coach, I have a tennis coach. I mean, I can never have enough coaches because, it's so much easier if you're being coached through something. So without any further ado, let me bring in my awesome guest, Jane Smith. Hi, Jane. How are
Hi,
you?
Lucy. I'm good. How are you? Thank
I'm
you so
fine,
much
thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I know how busy life is and how we all are busy. And if should something happen during the live, well, life happens.
That
so,
is true. We
so
know
tell
that.
me, where are you coming from? I know I said Canada, but Canada is such a big country.
Yeah, I live in the Okanagan Valley, so that's in British Columbia. We
Okay.
call it wine country. It's absolutely beautiful here. Yeah, so I've lived here about 6 years now.
Okay. So that's the west coast of Canada. Where are you from originally?
Actually, I grew up in Vancouver,
Okay.
BC, and then my husband and I lived in Edmonton, Alberta for about 30 years, where we raised two daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have one daughter in Australia, expecting twins, and we have a daughter here with my 7-year-old grandson and 2-year-old granddaughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So not only are you an interviewer, you are a coach, you are a mom, you are a grandmom also. You wear quite quite a few hats. I'm sure that
Yeah,
keeps you busy.
it does. Yeah. Life is good though. Life
Life
is
is good. Great, great. I'm so intrigued by your compassion project that you and I talked about. Also, people can find out about. Can you talk a little bit about that project, when it started, the intention you had, your why? Could you tell us a little bit about that? I love the name,
yeah.
the Compassion Project.
You like the name.
I,
Yeah.
I like the name a lot.
Yeah. I'm all about compassion. I really am. That's probably my favorite word. But the Compassion Project came to be. It was actually kind of an interesting journey. I had been with a few companies before and started doing live videos, just more to give health tips and stuff.
Mhm.
And when the pandemic hit, I think all of us were in complete shock. We really were. The whole world was like, "What is happening?" I don't know if we even really believed it. But I laid in bed one night. It was like end of March. I think we're just a couple
Mhm.
weeks into the pandemic. And my husband, my beautiful husband of 35 years, who was with uh, Air Canada, he was a captain on a 787 aircraft.
Mhm.
His career ended. Like, so
Wow.
we basically, it was like my husband had to retire and he did not want to. He was at the top of his career, loving it. He had to retire. My daughter had to cancel her wedding, my daughter in Australia. My little grandson had to end kindergarten. All these things were happening. And I laid in bed this one night and I thought, like, if this is happening to us,
Right.
what's happening to everyone else all over the world? Like what's happening? Like everyone has a story. And I laid in bed this night and it kept coming to me. The Compassion Project, this word like in my head, the Compassion Project, real people, real stories, creating connection during social distancing. And I couldn't go back to sleep. Like Lucy, I had to get up,
Wow.
and I actually kept these. I got up and I was half asleep and I wrote these out. The Compassion Project, real people, real stories. And it says, you can see it. I wrote all my notes.
Oh, wow. That
And I
is
wrote,
so,
introduce myself, where I'm from, and I wrote it down so I could go back to sleep. And I had the questions, what I was going to ask. How is social distancing affecting your life? What are your greatest challenges, concerns? How are you coping? So I had it. Then I went to bed.
yeah.
And in the morning, I got up and I thought, what was it I wrote about? What was that? And I don't think I would have remembered if I had not written it down when you have that inspiration,
Right.
because we all get inspired action, that inner
Absolutely.
nudging, that voice we tend to ignore.
Hmm.
And so the next morning I got up and I thought, I wonder if I can do this, and I'd already had started doing not interviews, but doing a fun kind of distance thing with a friend on
Hmm.
live. And so I decided I was just going to do it. And I reached out to a few friends and I said, I have this idea. I want to connect people because I know there's a lot of lonely people and some people are scared of what's happening in the pandemic. So I just started with a good friend. And the next day I said, let's just do it. We kind of winged it. And
Yeah.
I said, and I explained, I have this idea, the Compassion Project. And so I shared her story and what she was going through.
Hmm.
And then I just started with my close friends. And then kind of went from there. And I did over 130 interviews in that year of the pandemic.
My God. So it came to you as an inspiration. That's amazing. And
Mhm.
of course, all of that happening in your own family, it takes awareness to say, oh my God, it's not just me. What's happening to other people,
Mhm.
and then let me find out their stories. Now, and you had this idea that the stories that people would tell would kind of heal them in a way, right? Was that also the intent behind it?
Oh, like for sure, because I knew there was a lot of women that were like single and alone and were kind of having to self-isolate
Hmm.
at the beginning there.
Right.
And they were really struggling with loneliness. And I thought if I could connect them and they didn't feel alone. So I had quite a few women that would every day they tuned in because they felt like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. Like I'm not alone in this. We all have our own struggles. And then the whole idea was to learn from each other. Like what this woman maybe that, is by herself, what is she doing and what tools? So I would try to get them to like what's working for them so that
Right.
someone else like
To
could
help
take an
out.
idea. Because all you need is one idea, one new thought to completely change the way you think in your life. And so that was
Absolutely.
always my goal, just one thing. If you get like even anyone watching this interview, if you get one thing that Lucy says or I says that you're like, I never thought of that.
Right.
So then you can change your life. You can start making changes. And yeah, so that was the goal. I think Lucy, I think what I didn't realize would happen, like at first I thought I was doing the Compassion Project for other people to connect, and I was, but I had no idea the gift that was for me. Almost makes me cry thinking about these amazing women that I met. Like people were getting like self-isolating and social distancing, and I was interviewing people and meeting more people all over the world. It led to friends to friends of friends to friends of friends to people I didn't know.
So the greatest benefit for you would you say was connection online?
Oh
Connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, how did you, I mean, 130 people, that's a lot of people. And how, and you just started out, it was an idea. You started out with one of your best friends. How did you meet your interviewees? How did you find them? And
Yeah.
how did you decide on who, you wanted to interview?
I was pretty open to interviewing anyone because I
Okay.
felt like during the pandemic, everyone always has a story and
Yeah.
value. Every single person on this earth is important and
Right.
needs to be seen and heard and valued. So it's kind of finding that what they have could help others. And it's funny because some people were like, I don't have anything. And their interviews would be amazing sometimes. So I'm like, of course you do. We all do, but it's more people self-doubt of, oh, I don't have a story or something to help others. I'm like, yeah, you do. So I started with friends, and because I was in some companies before, I used to be in network marketing, so I met a lot of people, but I'm not in network marketing anymore. So I reached out to friends, like, and I did about 10, and I just booked them 10. And then I would start calling a few days before. And if I didn't get someone, I'm like, can you recommend someone? And so like one lady was like, oh, I have these amazing friends that are going through all this. And I'd connect with them. And so I was just determined to have someone every day.
Right.
So I did 58 in a row without
Wow.
missing a day. But this is the most beautiful thing. It led me to like the friends and then these people I didn't know. And then it led me to Bomani in Malaysia, this beautiful, she's the head of the marketing department in Malaysia at the university there. I interviewed her and it was amazing. And I said to my husband, I'm interviewing someone from Malaysia. And I found out about the life in Malaysia and the pandemic and what they were doing and what life was like for them was very different. Malaysia doesn't mess around. Like they were locked down. Like
Right.
and then it led me to fresh stuff from Afghanistan. That's a whole other story. I interviewed a girl from Afghanistan. Like what?
That's amazing. And I mean, that is the power of the internet. That we're no longer, I mean, we're no longer just a little village. We are a global village. I mean, and we have to, we have to look at that and think about that all the time, because the minute you're on social media, the world is out there, you know, and
I
and
know.
you can contact with anybody. That's so interesting that am I to understand that you're no longer doing that, because you're talking about it as if it were in the past?
I did 58 in a row. And then so I've got this Facebook group, Compassion Project. I also have a YouTube channel because I would stream it into YouTube too.
Okay.
And it was my heart and soul. Well, it is still the Compassion Project, but I feel like life can take turns, and I try to let things happen organically, like just like it was when I started. And I was so busy doing this, and it was starting to slow down, and it was like a full-time job running this.
Right.
And I had made so many amazing connections, and then life started to take on change. We had to babysit our grandchildren full time, and so I could not do the interviews at that time with two little grandchildren. And I said to my husband, I think I just need to take a bit of a break, look after the grandchildren, and keep the group going, because I love my group, is amazing. And some of the interviews I will reshare, but sometimes you don't know why you do something or what it's going to lead to. And I remember saying to my husband, sometimes I wonder what was my whole purpose of doing the Compassion Project. And I'm going to start doing interviews again. I'm going to wait until it feels right, or know how I want to go with it, like what stories. So, but I look back, and that year, honestly, Lucy, completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. I met people that I never would have met. Kristen Zako introduced me to Maya Camarado. I interviewed Maya Camarado
Oh, did you?
early on. Like I didn't even know her. I reached out and see if she would do it, and she did. And then it led to me working with her and being coached by her. I would never have met. I think one of the most beautiful things that came out of it was my relationship with Freshta from Afghanistan.
Right.
I don't know if you want me to share a bit about that.
I would love to, because it affected you so beautifully. My next question was going to be about Maya, but do tell me a little bit about the experience you had with Afghanistan.
Yeah, so I was led to this like a lot of things from the Compassion Project came out of it, but there was this relationship with Freshta, this beautiful young woman, like 25 years old. I think and she's brilliant, and she's in the IT sector in Afghanistan. She's a woman's rights, like she wants women in that field, and she's just amazing. And so I just loved her. I did the interview, and it was almost scary for me, but we connected. And when you interview, you get to know someone personally, right? So there's more of a connection. So then, honestly, I kept in touch with her after the interview. And when the Taliban took over, it almost makes me want to cry, because I was like, I hadn't seen her on Facebook, and I thought, where is she? Is she okay? I started looking for her on Facebook. I couldn't find her. And I said to my husband, I wonder what happened to Freshta. Like, I'm worried, because she was really out there.
Yeah.
And the Taliban not like that, right? So
No, exactly.
I was really worried about her, and I was searching and searching, and then she messaged me, and I had to take down everything to do with her on like everything because she
Yeah.
had to go into hiding. I'm not going to say her last name or anything, but
No,
she
good.
um so then it started a connection where I reached out to her every day because she was fearful for her life and her family was fearful for their life, and she was literally in hiding, and it was the scariest thing, and I was so connected with her.
Oh,
So every day since the end of August, I have messaged her. I messaged her this morning. I give her hope. We've created such a strong bond. She calls me her Canadian mama. Like, I love her. Like, I love her. I've never met her. I love her. And I will say that she has escaped. She had to. She would have. I don't know what would happen. Her life is in
great
terrible danger.
danger. Hmm.
I'm the only person outside of Afghanistan that she's talking to. And so I had decided. I really truly believe that one person can make a difference in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so my husband's like, "What are you going to do to help her?" I'm like, "Oh, you wait." I was like, "I'm going to do whatever I can." And I messaged organizations. I reached out to people. Connected her with people to try to get her out of Afghanistan. And so she is in a camp right now. I'm not going to say where or anything, but
Yeah. No, no,
and I am
absolutely.
going to meet her one day. And so and I just like if people could understand like the reason I have so much compassion for her and what's going on in Afghanistan is that I'm connected with her, but life goes on, and if I hadn't connected with Fresha, I wouldn't even know what's happening in Afghanistan. But I have a direct connection with this beautiful girl who's in a
Right.
camp. I'm sorry, she's been in this camp for 2 months, and they're not letting her out. She's left her family. She's
My,
so alone and scared, but I'm just giving her hope. All you need is one person
exactly.
to say,
Exactly.
I see you.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful story. My God, what a
Yeah.
beautiful story that is. I mean, you are maybe her only hope, you
Yeah,
know?
we have a very, very close relationship because we talk all the time. And like I send her videos of my grandbaby to help her get through the days. But what we
Mhm.
don't realize is she's in a camp she's young, she knows no one. They don't have a lot, they have nothing to do. They're like in a prison.
Right.
And so she's hopefully getting out in January, but she'll be sent to the States into another camp. So it's gonna be months, this girl. And then people complain about social distancing. I'm like, do you have any idea what this beautiful young woman's going through?
Exactly.
You have to put life in perspective. Like we have to wear masks. So what? Like this woman's
Absolutely.
suffering. Like I just, I know. So
I know, absolutely unbelievable. Thank you for sharing that beautiful story. I mean, it's unbelievable that yeah, I have a similar story. You talk about Malaysia. I have a team that I work with. One's in Israel, one's in Malaysia. Who had to leave Malaysia because of the pandemic is now in Poland, trying to get his girlfriend from Malaysia to come to Poland, and because of all of these visa things, I mean,
oh yeah.
it's making it impossible. But I work with a team of people, all right, from all over the world, and I just love it. It's just
Aw.
unbelievable. So that's what the internet does for us. So mostly you worked with YouTube then. I mean, I know that you did your interviews with StreamYard, but you did stream to YouTube, right?
I did originally it was just in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
And I do think it's really powerful to do interviews in a Facebook group because it creates a real connection.
right,
And I do love Facebook Lives because people need real. People want real.
right, right.
And so if we mess up, we mess up because it makes you more relatable. We don't want perfection. You can't relate to perfection, right?
Right.
So I think it's really powerful. And if people want to connect with their audiences, you need to do Facebook Lives because that's the way you connect.
Yeah,
YouTube,
absolutely.
I only did it because I had so many interviews that it
Mhm.
keeps all the videos in order they're all there kind of where Facebook, they get lost interviews. You can
Yeah.
repurpose them. You can replace some of them. But yeah, it was just a good way to keep the videos.
And it's also, I'm just, if ever you were shut down by Facebook,
Oh
then
yeah,
at
yeah,
least you have the security of
yeah,
having all your interviews in one place. Because
yeah, it's true.
believe me, that happened to me twice. I was
Yeah.
put in Facebook jail, but that's a story in itself. Just because I got on social media when I first got online and I didn't know what I was doing, I just thought that if you responded, I got so excited about being able to respond to people from here, from there, and everywhere, and getting into their stories. They thought I was robotic. at one point because I would answer so fast, you know.
Yeah.
So, all sorts of, I have learned so much since I started online. I'm sure you have too. So,
Hmm.
why are you determined to make such a difference in the world? Why, where does that come from, Jane?
I just like I have a little sign by my um, computer. It says, "Do all things with kindness, compassion, and integrity, and you shall be blessed beyond measure." And
Hmm.
I just feel people's pain, and I don't. I just feel like we're distant, and I feel it's important to help each other. And I just have a lot of inner um, drive and compassion to. I don't like people to suffer, Lucy.
Right.
I don't, and I have suffered.
Hmm.
I have gone through a really dark time. And so actually that's why I think you were going to mention I created a course called Become Unbreakable, because I was broken like
Uh-huh.
5 years ago. Just, we all have our things we go through.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Can let's talk a little bit about your background. I know that you were born in Vancouver. You now live with your husband, Kelowna.
Kelowna. Yeah.
Um, could you talk a little bit about your background? Because, you've been married 35 years, you said. You have two grandchildren. There's a lot of background there, and here you are now. Obviously, you're not only an interviewer, but you just mentioned your coaching and your master class, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But can you tell us a little bit about the background, how you got to where you are now?
So my husband and I met when I was a flight attendant. He was a pilot, fell in love, all that. But I had come from a broken upbringing, teenage years,
Hmm.
very broken, dysfunctional, a lot of pain, so then when I met him, it was like Prince Charming married me, and we moved away to Edmonton, and we raised two daughters there. And I just love being a mom. I put everything to being a mom. But the interesting thing is there was a few moments early, like teenage years, when I was told that, oh, you'll just make a great wife and mom. You don't need to go to university. One of my counselors, I wanted to be directed. I wanted to make a difference and get an education. And this one counselor said, you don't need to. You'll be a great wife and mom. And I was like, I remember thinking, oh, and then my mom and dad said, yeah, you just get married. You'll be fine. And I always had this inner part of me, that paradigm that says, that's all I'm ever meant to do is just be a wife and mom, even though it's beautiful. And I
Yeah.
mean, my family's everything to me. I never felt I had more to offer the world because, Jane, you can you're really happy and you make a great wife and that's all you need to do. And I was like,
Yeah.
so this paradigm, right? I don't know. So I just worked small jobs. I worked like in a coffee shop when the kids were in school. I worked in a clothing store. And then I ended up working in a natural health clinic when my kids were in university. And I think that's the first time that I felt like I can really make a difference. Like these broken people are coming into a health store. People that are going through cancer or different health issues, we usually go to the doctor first, and then they will search for natural health, and they come broken to us.
Right.
And though that was when I first realized I went like, can I have this person and take them in this back room and let them cry? And I'm like, it's okay. Like we
Oh,
can help
wow.
you. So I think it was the first time I had this. I worked there 8 years. So I learned a lot about healing the body, with food and that. But I realized too that it's a lot of their thought and mind,
Right.
right? So I love that job. It was everything to me. I felt like I had a purpose. I was making a difference. And
Hmm.
then we were in Edmonton, and then my husband had a heart attack, and his pilot's license was taken away for a year, and our whole life changed. And then both daughters left to go to university, and we moved. So I was honestly went from living this great life, loving my job, having a purpose, to both daughters gone, moved to Kelowna to a big, beautiful home, and I was lost. I literally had it all. Like Lucy, I had it all. I had this amazing man. Our daughters were healthy, beautiful grandson at the time, a gorgeous home. I was so broken inside from my teenage years and things that weren't healed,
Hmm.
and losing my purpose, that I actually fell into depression. I never thought I would. Deep, dark, horrible place. I literally wanted to end my life. I could not see all the joy and everything that was right in front of me, because I am super happy now. And the only thing that's changed is my thoughts.
So how did you do that? Did you do that just with self-development courses, or did you have a coach? Did you have a therapist? How did that happen? I mean, that doesn't happen
I
overnight either.
No, 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 no. So I so like I just look back and I think, oh, I was so broken. And it's because when we moved here, my husband, after my husband had his heart attack, he wanted us to be closer to family, to my mom and my sister, in
Hmm.
case something happened to him again. And actually, I don't think he realized that it was a very teenage year, painful, broken. And I came back to like a Pandora's box of,
Right.
and I didn't, my mom and my sister, I didn't get along with them. I was struggling in the relationship. I was broken. I would go to a family event and they'd be whispering and or say something, and I would just feel like they were attacking me. Like I would go out and try, and I always felt like I was a nice person, that I had lots of friends, and but I couldn't get along with my own mom,
Right.
my own sister, and I was fragile. I would come home crying from every family event. Like I just like, and so um, my husband didn't know what to do with me. Like he was just like, like he goes, beautiful home. You you're crying all the time, and we almost moved because I couldn't live in the same city as my mom and sister.
Wow.
And I thought something I can't. I need to heal myself.
Right.
And I my husband got me this gift one Christmas, and it's a wireless headset. Best gift I ever got, not jewelry. I put it in, started listening to personal growth to get
Uh-huh.
out of my crazy mind. So in the morning when I was getting ready, instead of worrying, stressing about the past, worrying about the future, I was present, listening to personal growth, and I would take notes. And I have written like stacks and stacks of notes over the years, and literally healed my brain, literally healed it.
Was there one mentor more than another that helped you? I mean, the person that comes to mind is Joe Dispenza,
Yes,
you know,
100%. Mhm,
and there's
mhm,
so many of, Wayne Dwyer,
mhm.
and were there one or two
Wayne Dyer.
more?
Mhm.
Wayne
I
Dyer, yeah, I always get his name
so when
backwards.
Yeah, when you start the journey of personal growth, I was also at the time in a network marketing company, and the leaders are all into personal growth. I wasn't aware that I needed personal growth. I didn't even know
Mhm.
what it was.
Right.
Like, what's personal growth? And I would be like, well, yeah, I'm struggling, but this is just life, thinking that's just the way life is.
Hmm.
But personal growth, it's like you go to the gym and you work on your muscles to build muscles, but we need to work on our brains and heal our brains. And Dr. Joe
Right.
Dispenza changed me. He's the one that made me understand that you can actually create a new healthy pathway in your brain. So
Right.
if you so what would happen, I'd go to my sisters and my moms, and they would say something, and I'd slip into this, I'm not good enough, I'm insecure, they're out to get me, and my brain was just broken. So then after like 5 years of drilling stuff into my head, I can go into the house confident, and they're entitled to say and be and do whatever they want. And I've learned that is how I react that
Right.
causes the problem, and it's all about how you think. And so they haven't changed. I've changed, and I've created the most beautiful, loving, authentic relationship with my mom and sister. Like amazing.
That is, you see, change your mind, change your world.
Yeah. And
Unbelievable.
so
And that's what Joe says, change your mind, change your world.
Dr.
And
Joe
that's,
Dispenza is life changing to listen to, and so is I really like Wayne Dyer, is one of my favorites, and Law of Attraction with Abraham Hicks. And I listen to Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu.
mhm,
He interviews the most amazing people, and I wrote more notes on Tom Bilyeu. Like he interviewed Wim Hof, Sadhguru, Jay Shetty. I mean, you can name. He
yeah,
interviewed Dr. Joe Dispenza. That
right.
was one of my favorite things to listen to.
Well, that's amazing. It just reminds me that I'm reading one of Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
I have that book. Yeah.
Fabulous book.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I do my reading with a mastermind group, and it's so much better than just reading alone. Yeah, I know it's a fabulous book, and we're probably going to reread it over. I have a mentor, Mary Morrissey, that I've been with for 4 years ago, and when you first join Mary's program, because they're really they're fabulous programs, they're expensive,
The
but
Dream
she
Builder one, right?
the dream builder one, but that's the initial one that can be done online. It's a 12-week course, and then you go to one of her live events, and before you know it, you're into another program. And when you
Yeah.
get into the other programs, she gifts you 14 of her spiritual books. And
Oh,
I have been
wow.
so, and for me to read, it's very hard because I have to do it at night, and that lasts 5 minutes, and I'm asleep. But I've joined. I'm now in a mastermind group, and four of us are Mary's, you know, um, students, and we are reading the 14 spiritual books together, and we've been through all 14 of them twice. Some books like three times, and now
Wow.
breaking the habit of being yourself was suggested by one of our members. It's not one of Mary's books, could easily be, but it fits so well after reading all the other books that we have read, by from Mary, that I mean, the personal development books like that are just an essential part of everybody's life, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. It's
And a lot of people that don't read or think, oh, I would never read a book like that, or they don't want to. I really like, it depends on what kind of learner you are. Like some
Yeah,
people learn from reading. I love to have books and I love to lend them to people, and I will read them, but I'm more like read a bit of this and this and this. I
yeah,
need to listen. I need to hear voices. I learn way better audio listening. So it's just more searching the authors and listening to everything they have on YouTube and then taking notes. That's how I learn best. So
yeah.
anyone that wants to get personal growth, they need to figure out how they learn best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's great. And I do a lot of audiobooks too, so I'm really happy to hear you say that. Okay, so
Mhm.
you went from being an interviewer, and now you are what you call a transformational coach, right?
I
And
am
so,
just starting a program. Yeah.
okay,
Like Become Unbreakable is my course that I'm going to be launching soon. But I
okay,
just ran a mastermind. I just ran a mastermind last Monday, a 90-minute mastermind, and it was a master class, and it was Become Unbreakable, Own Your Morning, Transform Your Day with a Powerful Morning Routine.
okay,
And
great.
it was amazing.
So how did you come about? Okay, well, you already talked about that you were broken, and this master class is called Become Unbreakable, which is wonderful because you've had the experience, you've been through it, you know how to help people get through it. There's nothing like experience and expertise to help somebody else get through it. So you've done a one morning 90-minute master class. When that just happened, I think this week, right? December
Yeah,
13th,
on Monday.
I think, on
Yeah.
Monday. So
Mhm.
how did you get people to come to this class?
Okay, well, the interesting thing is I didn't try very hard because I've got a lot coming up. We're leaving to Australia for 2 months
Okay,
because my daughter's expecting twins. So that's a big deal. And I thought I need to get something out there
right.
just to do it. Because sometimes we have to, like Maya said, you just have to take that step, like know that you have value and you can teach it. And I know this will help so many women. So on the Friday before, I just thought, I'm just going to do it on Monday morning because I believe that if you book it too far in advance, people don't know what they're doing, but they know on Friday what they're doing on Monday.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, and I also like to put things out to the universe, like whoever needs this will find it. And so I just made an event through the Compassion Project. And then people that responded to that, I just messaged them just to see if it would be for them. And I
Mhm.
got a great response from the few people who saw it. But it doesn't, I wouldn't have cared if it was just one person, because as soon as it went up, acquaintance friend messaged me and said, I can't believe that came up. I needed that today.
Oh,
She said,
wow.
I saw you're doing that, and I'm just in such a bad place. And I was like, oh, do you need to talk? And she said, sure. And I called her and I taught her for an hour, and she was in her pajamas in such a low place, so sad. And by the end, she was dressed and she was going to go to the gym and she's joining my class. And I thought that's all I needed. That was worth,
Right, exactly.
like, that woman needed to see that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the power of one. They talk about the power of one. You start with one person, and you make a difference in that one person's life, and then the universe just kind of opens up the road for you, and then you
Yeah.
just know. And you have that wonderful openness about yourself, because you've healed yourself. So so you're open to just and the compassion is just tremendous, when you have compassion for people like that. So there's no doubt in my mind. So tell me, because you said you're going off to Australia for 2 months. Of course, they have internet in Australia, and I know you're going to be busy because your daughter is having twins. And when is she due, by the way?
Well, we all guessed yesterday that I guessed January 7th. My
Okay.
daughter's not very big, and she's expecting a boy and a girl, and
Oh, wow, 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 wow,
her
wow.
tummy's big, but she's a
Yeah.
little, she's small. So I'm thinking January 7th, she'll probably have them.
So what do you intend to do with your master class at this point? Are you intending to continue this on a weekly basis, or are you going to take a break for 2 months and then continue your master class? What is the intent here?
Yeah. So I actually, what I've done is I've created this exact class. I put it up on Mastermind, Tony and Dean's platform, Mastermind.
Mastermind.com?
So
Okay.
I've actually filmed, this is a transformation guide. It's about 30 pages. People love this. It's actually really beautiful on its own. One woman went through it on her own and said it changed her just going through this. But I have done all the videos. So I'm actually putting up an Own Your Morning course.
Okay, so this is a course.
I'm going to run it as a mastermind because it's really powerful when you have real people one-on-one. But I put it up as an evergreen course for people that can't make the masterminds. They can go buy the course and do it on their own time.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the course up before I go to Australia.
Okay,
and
so that's at mastermind.com, right? Mastermind.com. And the course is called Become Unbreakable, just so that my audience knows.
Yes, and it's the Compassion Project is the name of my name under Mastermind. But so I'm going to have a few courses. So Become Unbreakable, Own Your Mornings, like a mini course. And then the big course, which will be launching when I get back from Australia. This is all about healing your thoughts, transforming your life, because of the way you think changes everything. And it literally heals all your relationships.
Wow.
Like there's no reason to ever have conflict with anyone.
Yeah.
Like when you become so strong, you can just let people be and just love them.
I know.
It sounds easy, but I literally take people through healing their past and then embracing the present. So each module there's like 4 lessons in each module, and then creating the future, using the power of your thoughts to actually create a future you want.
Wow, exactly.
Right. And then the bonus modules, power of habits, because without a habit, if you don't make these a habit, you're not going to change. Like you have to create habits. Yeah. Right. And so got a lot on the go.
So that's wonderful. We have a couple of people here. There's a language that I can't read, Awan Fazal. We were talking about people globally. Emma Oliver, I think that she is telling us to go see something on YouTube. So I'll check that out. But I don't know what Awan Fazal is saying to me because I don't even know what language it's in. But it's just so cool that somebody from far away is coming. So, okay, just to recapitulate, you're on mastermind.com. And it's under the Compassion Project. So anybody looking for you should go to mastermind.com, look for the Compassion Project. And under that, you have several courses. And
they're just going up. Like I'm just launching this one, like I think Saturday it's going up. Okay. That's my goal because I need to get something up before I go to Australia. And the thing that's interesting, Lucy, is it's like, when I did the mastermind on Monday and I just a couple days to invite, just so not many people saw the invite, it's shocking how many, I'm going to say women, because women are more emotional. I know men too, but this is more women, but men could benefit from it too. But how many women are broken? They put on the happy face. They're like, oh, I'm good. But inside, they're like fragile. They're broken. They're upset. And they just put on this mask and they go out in the world and people say, how are you? I'm good. I'm fine.
I know.
No, they aren't.
It's unbelievable.
My husband's
right. It was that.
That says my
Okay.
husband's home. So now
Oh, okay.
he went to get the
Well,
grandbaby. So
we're almost through.
okay.
Therese Parkin just joined us. Hi, Therese. Thanks for joining us. Anyway, so I know that your life is busy. I know that your husband just came home, and that means that the your grandson, right?
Little granddaughter too,
Oh, your
Kyla. She's
granddaughter too. Okay, great. And
oh,
so
she's adorable.
let me see. Hello, beautiful Jane and Lucy from Therese Park. And
Aw.
hello, Therese.
Hi,
Nice, nice for
Therese.
you to join us. We love you. Thank you for joining us. So,
Well, that
so,
you should just meet my granddaughter. She is so cute.
okay. What I'm going to do then is after this interview, Jane, I would like for what I'll do is in the comments, tell my audience how they can contact you, put all that information in. And if you would keep me posted on when your courses go up so that I can also inform my audience. All right. Oh, look at that. Oh, how beautiful.
Come say
Oh,
hi.
oh
You
my
want to come
God,
say
she's
hi, Lucy?
beautiful.
Come. No, she ran away.
No, she does. They
Okay.
shy away from the camera. It's funny. Usually, it's like, oh, I don't know what you're doing, Grandma.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will. We can put in the comments the link to join the Compassion Project because then I can message people and I'll be posting in there too about the courses and stuff.
Yeah, compassion project. So just as a okay, so I've done that, and so how do okay compassion? Oop, okay,
Yeah,
there.
and I can. Yeah, we can put it in after. Oh, perfect.
Okay, and then, okay, so that's okay. But I'll give them all that information to make sure that they know exactly how to contact you for sure.
Thank you
Okay,
so
so
much, Lucy.
well, thank you for your time. I'm going to let you go because your husband and your granddaughter needs you right now. And if I could just get this off, that would be good. But let me see. I think
Well,
it's
thank you.
hi.
I appreciate you. What you're doing is amazing. I really
Thank
enjoyed it.
you.
You're awesome.
Thank you. So thank you for your time, and I want to thank the audience for being here and being live with us. Those of you who are live in the replay also, remember that Thursdays are interview days for me, and I'll have another awesome guest next week. So please join us, and we'll say goodbye for now. Ciao.
Thank you, Lucy. Super grateful for
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for
Bye
watching.
bye.
Bye.